You can see that exports are a critical component of the continued profitability of the U.S. beef industry. We sent Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Russell Nemetz to Washington, D.C. to find out the latest on this important topic.
Well, today we're lucky enough to be in the Russell Senate building up here on Capitol Hill talking about key legislative activities that are underway here in our nation's capital that have the potential to impact America's beef cattle producers. And we're in Nebraska U.S. Senator Ben Sasse's office here. And Senator, one of the big issues, of course, for the U.S. beef cattle industry, including organizations like the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, is trade.
Yeah, I mean, trade is a win-win for everybody who's involved. Consumers on both sides win, producers win on both countries, on both sides of a border, and those people who are feeding the world by cattle ranching. That we got the best beef in the world, and we need more export market. So we saw what happened when the administration pulled out of TPP. There was a mad scramble to fill that void in Asia. We need to make sure we don't do anything stupid around NAFTA and start talking like we want to pull out of an agreement that's been a bit win-win for all the countries involved, and obviously for producers in the breadbasket of the world.
So what are U.S. senators like yourself from farm states like Nebraska doing back here on Capitol Hill to help, relay a message to the White House, if you will, about the importance of these trade agreements to American agriculture?
So I don't talk a lot about the particulars of my conversations, but I literally talk to every single person important at the White House about this issue, and I try to persuade them. There's all sorts of people out there in the world for hundreds of years who've thought that somehow trade is a win-lose scenario, that it's a zero-sum game, and that if one country's doing well, another country must be suffering. That isn't how trade works. Trade is a win-win situation, and we need to make sure that voters and constituents and consumers in Nebraska and Montana and Indiana and across the nation know, but we also need to understand that policymakers often don't understand this stuff very well either. So in both the Article 1 branch here on Capitol Hill, the legislature, and the Article 2 branch, the executive, there's a lot of educating to do about trade.
Last question, then I'll let you go. I mean, how important is it for groups like the NCBA to visit your office, have opportunities to visit with you one-on-one, and also your team here in your office here in the nation's capital?
Critically important. We have the leadership of the Nebraska Farm Bureau here in town today, and I learn a lot from these folks. And so that I benefit from that, but we also need cattlemen to be back in their states, spreading the message about how trade actually works, because we've seen a real migration in the last 24 months across the country. A lot of places that should understand the indisputable benefits of trade often have voters that are increasingly confused about it. In Nebraska, we've seen a lot of migration from pro-free trade views to more protectionist views that would really harm a lot of our families across the state and across the country. So we need our cattlemen here in Washington, and we especially need them raising the flag back home.
We certainly appreciate your time, Senator, and keep up the good work for American agriculture.
Good to be with you.
All right, again, we're in U.S. Senator Ben Sasse's office from the great state of Nebraska.